Hello everyone, I'm the Nerdy Fool and welcome back to Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. Last time we dealt with the couple of problems that we had on Janus, our aggro world. We had a Eldari plot to try and kill all the humans, and we also had a Slaneshi plot from a bunch of cultists, and we ended up dealing with both and getting our world back on track. I think we handed it off to the Adeptus Administratum, some tech priests, to figure out how to get it back in line. Apparently we've also finished our colony thing we were working on at Foulstone, the Thousand-Faced Relic, where we were carving scriptures into the skin of 1,000 people. So, yeah, we got that done. Cool. What are we going to have you guys work on next at Foulstone? You know, now that we've got our 1,000-person scripture relic. Looks like we can't do any of our rank 3s yet. We either have to do Bonfires of Righteousness or Good Tidings. Okay. We can't even do either of those yet. Crusade requires Bonfires of Righteousness. Shrine requires Good Tidings. So we can't do rank 3 until we do these. And these require our... This one requires our Phlogiston, which we don't even know what that is. We haven't found any yet. Rare priceless crystals born within flaming magma under immense pressure. Their energy potential is tremendous and fully justifies the cost of harvesting them, measured in the lives of miners killed by radiation. Lovely. And this one requires us to get our complacency and efficiency up. And we went with security instead. So we haven't worked on either of those. Huh. Well, this would boost complacency. And this is just for profit. And relationship with Fellowship of the Void. Selling indulgences, ugh. I don't know if I can bring myself to do that. Even for a profit factor. St. Cognatius left behind many treasures that are now coveted by powerful men and women. Rogue trader Incendia Corda possesses the shards of a priceless combi tool bearing the saint's fingerprints. Formally reclaiming the relic via the Adeptus Administratum will be a bureaucratic war requiring influential allies and nothing short of an army of clerks and scribes. But if it passed into the safekeeping of monks in the Order of the Hammer, it will be a great triumph for the faithful. So we could push for it. It would give us 2 complacency, which is still not enough for Good Tidings. No, for Bonfires of Righteousness. How do you get all the way up to 4 with just the limited options available? Okay, this would give us another 2. We just have to keep raising reputation and get some other stuff. Okay, I gotcha. So some of these projects are just going to be stuck until we can raise reputations and get various other materials, so probably significantly later in the game. I'm not opposed to Touched by Holiness. Complacency feels weird, though, to be aiming to try and get. Let's see. Increases and decreases. So, increases profit factor by 10%, but decreases the speed of projects in the colony by 10% for each point. So we'd be decreasing project speed by 20% for future projects, which is not great, but speeding up profit factor, whatever that means. Or I guess increasing our profit factor by 20%. I mean, let's do it. We might as well have them working on something rather than nothing, but man, starting a crusade, that feels kind of crazy. Alright, you guys start on that. Janus, though, if we go back and look. Yes, so we gave control of the planet to the Sage Genitors and Magos Biologus so that they... Yeah, the tech priests, so they can get the planet back in order, which will be good for Janus. But the point being that we're now at Footfall. We've got the planet back in line, and so in theory, we should be able to talk to the Liege about getting food shipments back here to Footfall to help out. We know that Rogue Trader Corda wants us to hold out so that they starve so he can get a better deal with them. But that wasn't really what we wanted. So he's probably going to be pissed at us later. There's no talk to the Liege, so I wonder if that just automatically went through. But we do want to still go to the Shadow Quarters, because we're hoping they finally opened up the way for us to explore that. And I don't remember what On the Hunt for Knowledge is. I guess let's go to the docking bay. Do I bring her? That's the question. I think it's fine. Certainly on Footfall, no one's going to bat an eye overly much about us having a Xenos with us, compared to a lot of other places. And she might have advice, because they do have a ton of Xeno trade here. Yeah. I'm not opposed to that. We could switch Argenta back in. They kind of are filling a similar role because Argenta usually have stand to the back and snipe. But Irlet is a better sniper. And I could also switch Heinrichs for Abelard pretty easily. Edir is never going to get taken out unless she has like a personal quest, which I feel a little bad for. I don't remember what Jai's build was. Yeah, I don't remember if I even looked into what her capabilities are. She might have been another officer, and I prefer Cassia. Maybe that's why I never use her. I don't remember. But yeah, we'll just use this team. So we are at the docking bay, where we have some quest that I don't recall. We have contracts? Right, Xenotech that I'm ignoring, and then Prometheum, which we don't have. And then quest-wise, what was it? On the Hunt for Knowledge. Representative of the Explorator is willing to pay for information on planet study. Okay, so this is just, in general, we found a bunch of planets. Go talk to Opticon 22 and let him know. I can do that. Access has been granted to the following options: information exchange, strengthening of diplomatic links, trade deals, donations. I have collected planetary data that may be of interest to you. With a respectful nod, the tech priest takes the data slate. The collected data is of interest, significant, compliant with the criteria for cooperation. The Cognizance Fleet thanks you for your contribution and guarantees the provisions of reciprocal service indulgence in the form of parts and equipment. Gain a profit factor. Reporting, the Kappa Thread supply line is ready to continue cooperation with the Von Valencius dynasty in the sphere of planetary reconnaissance. Can I buy any more of the mining things? I cannot. We have like 5 or 6 of them, so it's not critical yet. Because we did just gain a bunch more pretty recently. I don't think any of this is overly interesting to me. No, probably not. I mean, this might be better than what Pascal is using for an Omniscient Axe. Possibly an upgrade. Will to Live. Force Sword might be better than what Heinrichs is using. But that requires us to get all the way to 7, which is a ways away. And of course, we can trade. But, oh, we've actually got quite a bit. If we can get all the way to 27,000. Historically, it's felt like we've never had much to sell. Do we just have a bunch of holy gifts and heretical trophies? It wouldn't surprise me if we have a bunch of heretical trophies, given where we came from. Bunch of fuel, bunch of holy gifts, a ton of holy gifts. Are I sorting these from name? Why do we have, like, void pirate trophies right after holy gifts? That is not how alphabet works. Trying to find where the heretical trophies would be hiding, but since they're not in alphabetical order completely, maybe we don't have any. Okay, we had 2.5 containers of heretic trophies. No, we just have a ton of holy gifts, which we could sell to boost our reputation. But yeah, until I get to 7, I'm not really that excited. Using reload for any weapon costs 1 AP less, minimum 0. That is powerful. Okay, that's pretty cool. Though we can't see what it would actually take to get all the way up to 7. I think I'm going to hold off. Nothing here seems overly exciting, although we do know that we need to get reputation up just to build things for our factions, for our planets. So maybe I shouldn't hold off too much. Void Eldari trophies, that's not considered Xeno or heretic. Weird. Do you care about fuel? You don't really care about fuel. We'll give him some holy gifts. We want to get him to the next level. So then it would take an additional 700. No. Yes, an additional 700. That's it. To go up another rank. He's going up pretty fast. And then 1500. Oh, come on. We need 50 more. Take an armor kit. There. So that got us to rank 7. I didn't really care about this plasma pistol. We haven't trained anyone in plasma. I don't think this bolter is going to be significantly different than our other bolters. The Chirurgeon's Manual could be pretty cool. And I'm going to grab all of these just to see how they work on my team. Precision lasgun is not a sniper rifle. This is just a short-range lasgun. And then large medikit is nice, but not crazy. We'll leave him here. I think that's a good use of our finances. We should probably do more trading with more people, because I didn't realize we had that much stuff kicking around. If we go to our inventory, how many shots does your weapon have? Ammo 10. You are fine, so you probably don't need that. And we don't really have anyone else who uses guns. I mean, technically I do, but not really. I haven't used my gun in quite a while. So that would be good for Argenta. The Chirurgeon's Manual. What do you have in place of that? Medkits cost 1 AP less. And plus 15 Medicae. This gives plus 10 to Medicae, but also grants toughness MP after using a medkit. So after using a medkit, she could then move 5 more squares. Okay. It slightly reduces our Medicae skill, but I think more maneuverability is probably good. That was not the one I was hoping to replace. Medkit's using less AP. I still want to keep. Okay, and then the last thing we picked up is the Omniscient Axe. How does it compare to yours? Way better. Like, significantly better. Dude. It uses Brutal Strike for attacks of opportunity. I mean, that's dangerous because Brutal Strike is the big area attack, which means there's a good chance he will hit allies with his attacks of opportunity. And then the rest of that's all the same. So it just does a lot more damage, a lot more armor penetration, more bleeding damage, and the attack of opportunity being Brutal Strike is probably going to typically be good, but occasionally really bad. But that's a huge upgrade in power for him, which is kind of shocking because he already was doing crazy damage. Let's make our way to the rest of Footfall. We want to get to the Shadow Quarter. I do kind of want to still talk to the Liege and find out if we can talk to him about getting food. But it seems like that just went through without us needing to discuss anything further. We have 2 quests here to find out about the plague that apparently was going on, as well as there was a search for like hidden troves of treasure that pointed us to go into the quarantine area. Come on. So that was down here, I believe. No, back here? Back here. I'm trying not to get lit on fire, so maybe tuck back here in case they're still shooting fire. They did open the way by now. Hello, Sergeant. The 4 men of Utility Crew 3 is whistling some jaunty tune. So is the quarantine zone safe now? Well, that depends. We figure everyone who could have died is dead and rotting, and disease and parasites don't usually live in corpses. We threw a few expendables in the quarantine zone, and we can say for sure that it was thirst that killed them in the end, not disease. Threw a few expendables. Dude. What is with this? I assume that that was there just for Janus while we were there. Like, they had assigned a servo skull to praise us. But no. Is that an item I have? Herald servo skull. Okay. Servo skull is designed to spread the glory and splendor of its mighty owner. Sure. Well, that explains where that servo skull came from. I don't remember equipping that or where I got it.
It's about time.
But okay. Brothers and sisters, look, they cleared the way. We break through, it's now or never. I won't die here like a rat. Go, go, shoot everyone you run into. Well, that's going to turn out poorly for you. I'm here to help you. Like...
Submit and you'll die quickly.
What is with these people having green smoke around them? What's your deal? Infected thug. So there is some sort of plague carrying on. Shadow Quarters disease. When a diseased creature dies, it creates a toxic area which lasts for 3 rounds and deals 7 toxic damage to any creature that enters the area or starts its round inside it. These creatures must also pass a toughness resistance test or gain +1 stack of Shadow Quarters disease effect. Okay. So we need to keep an eye out for which thugs are going to spread the plague and not let them die near our people. Alright, frontline peoples to start. Pascal. Put you in cover just to start. This isn't considered cover. That's cover, even though you can't actually get there. So yeah, stand there in full cover. Abelard cannot move anywhere near as far. Not surprising. Bella. Maybe I'll send you this direction to deal with them. Then as for us ranged people, still no cover we can get to. So I guess just move forward. Yeah, not ideal. We're not in a great spot. Ah, you've got cover. I'll put you there. Full cover and half cover. And start the battle. I think we'll move her into full cover. Although full cover prevents her from seeing enemies often. So maybe I should just have her in half cover. Because if you were here, what could you do with your lidless stare? Okay, so yeah, you can see a lot of them from where you're standing there. That's good. Touch of anger. Right. That's a new ability we got for her. Grenades. Grenades are an option. We do have some enemies that are all stacked together, and we do want to kill them before they get close. The only one with grenades on them is Argenta. Well, Cassia has a fire grenade that I always forget about. Not sure why I gave it to her.
Step aside.
Let's move you there.
Is coming.
Then we can do our lines. We did something like that. I guess, when do all of these various people move? Who are you? You're back there. So Cabela, these people will have already moved by the time Cabela goes. But these people will all still be there by the time Pascal moves. So, yes, let's make this our front line so that Pascal can take advantage of that.
If I may.
Then we will make our rear line here.
I'm not accustomed to being ordered around.
And then I can throw this somewhere. I don't know. Don't really have a good place for this. So I'm tempted to just throw it here so that when Cabela runs up, if they're still in that area, she gets a dodge bonus. As silly as it is, because it's definitely not a backline thing. But that's fine. We'll bring it down on Ignatius.
Me? If you insist, Lord Captain.
You don't have movement, right? So let's just do ignite on yourself. Not that I guess it really matters, because they all have very little health. So I think just his normal attack probably would have been sufficient to kill them. But that's fine. Do I go Touch of Anger? To just get a bunch of them to attack each other? So I could get all four of them to suddenly want to attack. She can't go that far. Wouldn't be bad on these guys because they are up next. So getting them to waste their turn attacking each other could be fun.
I am a navigator,
Sure.
not a servitor.
Let's make it quick.
Okay. Interesting. I wonder if that actually took their turn, or if it just gave them a free action to attack each other. Didn't really read it terribly well. Immediately gain an extra turn where they attack their allies. Did it give them extra action points and movement points during that free turn, or did it use up the following turns' actions and movements? Don't know. Let's just set this as a kill zone.
If I may.
Just to help out Pascal, though I don't think he'll need it. Here, let. I don't think there's anyone that's actually significant in this entire group. No. It's just a bunch of small fries. Alright, can you take out some of the people with poison on them? Can you not attack anyone? Yeah, she can only see these three where she's standing. Well, that is a terrible spot to be then. You can't get into that cover. Huh. Can't see here. Alright, you could get here. That gives you a lot more options. Because I would like her to take out the infected guys from range. So yeah, shoot him.
The designated position. I deal death with my hands.
One down. There's not a lot else that she really needs to do. She doesn't have any options to get extra shots. Alright. Attack him at the start of your next turn. It's fine.
Here we go.
Oh, you are coming over to join all of them in death. I'm okay with that. They, I think, killed one of their allies on accident. Yeah? Yeah. So we'll have you move forward. If you attacked, you wouldn't kill. Even with the focus point there. You just don't do nearly enough damage, Cabela. I've noticed that a few times, that she's just not as deadly as I would like her to be.
I will leave footprints of scarlet.
Oh, she's also gonna be in a plague zone. That's not ideal. I guess use Blade Dance. Finish him off.
The other side awaits.
Then jump out of there.
Trust me.
Then what? I guess I can just move you into cover.
The shadows will see it done.
And end your turn. Alright, Pascal. This should be a pretty good spot for him to use his super attack. Anything I want to do to increase it? Not really. We could do Reckless Abandon to increase his damage. I don't see a reason not to. So go there, Reckless Abandon. then if I had you attack here, yeah, you just auto kill all of them. 63 damage on some of those guys. Dude, Pascal, that is a bit much, don't you think? Yeah.
Running binary code.
Alright, we will just end your turn there, I suppose.
Scared yet?
Alright. From here, can you see all of them? Maybe not that one. Let's find a spot where you can see all of them. Yeah, so that won't work. No, I don't think we'll be able to get a spot where we can see them. So, we'll just have to go here and have him kill all of them. Oh, right, we've got this molten beam now. Am I in a position where that line would hit all of them? It's not clear. Oh, there we go. So you aim at the first one and it hits the ones behind it. And that is not an adequate spot to pull that off. Maybe here. Yeah.
My tactics are flawless.
Well, that's crazy.
Suits my purposes. Opposing me was your biggest mistake.
Alright, then we run and gun. And get to a spot where we can see... How far can you run? All the way to here? Yeah. Then... ignite.
Let's see how they respond to this.
Suffering is part of the trial.
Get back out of there, please. Yeah, that was a really, really easy fight. Like, I would think that it was designed that way with the intent that we should have taken care of it earlier, but we weren't able to get over here earlier. Alright. We were distracted on our way to get these goods. Pascal, please open this.
Operation successful.
Then we'll
None
just
shall
keep looking
stand
around.
in my way.
A leaflet from Anvers. Now is our time, not theirs. Go to their homes, drag them out of their beds, blah, blah, blah. We've already read that one several times, and we dealt with Anvers already. Though, no guarantee we took care of all of them.
Watch
Okay.
your steps.
Path continues down that way. We'll hold off on that for the moment. Toxic knife. A knife that just does a little bit of poison or toxin damage. In addition to its base damage. Neat, but I don't know of any of my characters that would use it. Oh, that's the strange skull. So we still do have it on us. They didn't put it on our desk. I wish I could give it to... Earliot. Just to say, I didn't actually want to use this. I just wanted to get out of their hands. Hello,
Lay
shopkeeper.
claim to the stars.
You aren't doing good, it seems. Death, dressed in black, walked the streets and so diseased. You saw a specific individual walking through. Okay, those checks are all down there. We'll get to that later. Moans unintelligibly. Coughs hoarsely.
Follow my lead.
Like, I get that you guys have had it rough lately, but if someone actually went through intentionally spreading disease, that is something to know about.
I sense something nearby.
More sellable loot. Reverend Hieronymus's teachings on the path of St. Drusus. This thin pamphlet exudes a faint caustic smell, likely that of fresh inscriber's ink. Our being is steeped in degradation, and no longer can we imagine existing outside it. Are you capable of perceiving the depths to which this heinous miasma has rooted itself in our lives? Pompous aristocrats indulge in despicable revelries behind the tall palace walls, and planetary masters vie to possess the greatest luxuries, while you and your family choke on your corpse starch slop after a grueling work shift. Millions of soldiers die in the dirt to combat xenoprofanity, while their commanders, their duties forgotten, scrabble amongst themselves, seeing every death as nothing more than a stone in the monument of their own glory. Scholars pursue forbidden and mind-twisting knowledge, and righteous break their oaths and spread lies. Arbites thieve worse than any criminal would, and you are sullied by vicious degeneracy, of which you are not even aware. This pernicious rot is all-pervading, for there is none who has not succumbed to it. Does it frighten you to be in their midst, in our midst? Will you carry on calmly, living in this impious loathsomeness, hiding your gaze from the world, and hiding the world from your gaze? Will you become like a mindless servitor, or will you honestly realize the sheer baseness and repulsiveness of creation? And then you will renounce your former life, and you will accept your new selves, and relinquish your worldly affairs, and follow the road that was paved for us by St. Drusus, warrior and conqueror of sectors uncharted, and leave behind the sacrilege-ridden world, and, as is our immortal emperor's will, join our sacred crusade to walk the path that leads out of the murk of apostasy and irreverence and into the darkness of the unknown and unfathomed. It is in this darkness that we will light the candles of true faith, for only in their fires can we still find motes of light. It's a very negative viewpoint of life. Like, there is much of this is true, but the idea that, like St. Drusus, everyone needs to just abandon their current life and instead run out into the darkness feels wrong. Like, claiming that that is the Emperor's will, that all people just abandon their current existence to explore the darkness. Because exploring the darkness, a part of an ancient sewer system, the pipe leads somewhere deep within the asteroid. Yeah. The exploring the darkness has the potential to uncover
Victory awaits.
things that aren't meant to be uncovered. Chaos or xenos or whatever. So just saying that everyone without any sort of training or whatever should just go into the darkness feels like it's going to turn out badly in the long run. So we've got stairs down here and stairs down over there. Do they connect, do we think? There's the map. This one looks like it might be a dead end, although there could be ladders down to the lower level. Although, same could be said for this one. I guess we can go down here first.
None are better at searching.
What did you find? Maybe that? I'm unsure of what you spotted. Just awareness test succeeded. Coughs hoarsely. Moans unintelligibly. Someone spilt water here and it hasn't had time to dry. Okay. We've got some goods tucked back here. Reverend Hieronymus' teachings on the path of St. Drusus. Is that the same text we just read? It is. So this pamphlet has been spread pretty far. and I don't necessarily agree with its teachings. Judging by the traces of destruction and corpses all around, many people tried to break through this door. Oh, is this the other staircase? It might be. That we saw before.
It's about
O
time.
Messiah, grant me the wisdom to perceive.
Again, I'm not seeing what it is that you're seeing. Usually it, like, highlights it in purple or something. There is a groove here in the dust, like someone left tracks behind before hastily covering them. I assume we are slowly being led towards something important to find. And that's what these are. Maybe those are what we're finding with the awareness.
This explorator is blessed with multifunctionality.
We need no rulers or leaders. We are not an organization. We are a force of nature. Anverse. Moans unintelligibly.
I won't tolerate weakness.
Activate the elevator. We'll get back to that later. We don't need the elevator at the moment.
Just as he ordained.
These people did not die from the disease. It seems they simply fought to the death over the remaining provisions. Well, as sad as it is for you guys, there are now more provisions. So, in the future, less people will need to die. Open areas of skin have turned into a massive burst ulcer. The buzzing of flies and heinous stench complete the picture. Alright, let's keep our explorations going.
A new challenge for me?
Death dressed in black walked the streets, so disease. Again, if true, good to know.
The Viscia.
The dead are covered
Proud.
in
Am I?
ulcers. The dead are covered in ulcers, and several show traces of repulsive mutations. Hello. We spotted a door to a mutant's lair. The mutant's lair.
None shall stand in my way.
More Anver's leaflets. More Anver's leaflets. Loosely buried under piles of trash are bodies with obvious gunshot wounds. Gunshot wounds definitely is a thing. Huh. There was once a mine entrance here, but it caved in decades ago. We could toss the rubbish aside with demolition, using a melt charge. Let's check out over here first.
Victory awaits.
Pyromaniac boots. The wearer cannot suffer the burning effect by walking over burning cells. The wearer inflicts +3 additional stacks of burning whenever they stand on burning cells. I don't know how to make cells burning. We hit people often, but I don't think it usually sets the ground on fire. I think I'm still going to use those, though, for Ignatius, because +3% dodge until the end of combat for each psi power they use is nice, but I'm rarely getting attacked. And if this can stack getting even more burning, like if I can figure out how to pull this off, more burning damage is better for our obvious build. A pair of eyes lights up in the darkness, too big to be a human, too intelligent to be an animal. A moment later, the vision vanishes. Xander Sonatus Courier Services. Any orders? Today we're offering a discount to regular customers. You know how nice it is to say Xander's Sonatus Courier Service? It makes me feel like I'm someone important, not just a piss-poor errand boy. Can't talk to you, runner. Alright, we'll do the demolition.
Just as I was taught.
And that gets us Ah, the note from the old cache in the tunnels. So that's the next bit of cache. Or the next info of the cache. This is the final stretch, Seeker. Remember, the second word, design. Remember the place, cogitator, statue of the founder, small temple. Cogitator, statue of the founder, small temple. I recall the statue of the founder of this place. And a broken cogitator next to it. That Pascal was annoyed by how poorly it was maintained. So that's probably where we're being told to go next. Okay, so all we have is either going into the mutant layer or the elevator. Mutant's layer is probably a new area, the elevator probably isn't. So I think we will explore with the elevator first.
Success is an irrefutable certainty.
Okay. Let's toss down a save just to be sure. So where did this take us? Oh, this took us up. We're now back at the top. So that's a way to get in and out of the shadow quarters. Okay, and so we've obviously already explored here. So I guess all we have left is the mutants' quarters. I was assuming that that elevator would take us down, though obviously just looking at it you can tell it goes up. I just saw all of this down here and assumed that's where we'd be going. Okay, with that in mind, all we have left is to go check out the mutants. What's your story, guys?